Tonight's show was the Halloween episode, so WWE kept up its annual tradition of having a trick-or-treat street fight on the show between Natalya and Chelsea Green. DIY was in action against Imperium. Seth Rollins battled JD McDonough. Dominic Mysterio faced Ricochet in a non-title match. And Xia Li finally got some screen time against Candice LeRae. WWE usually doesn't lean too heavily into costumes, but with this year's show taking place the day before Halloween, a few superstars may have had some surprises in store for us. Let's take a look at everything that happened on tonight's edition of Raw for this. It's Ridiculously Raw. Welcome, everybody, to Ridiculously Raw, the most must-see show on YouTube and streaming.com today. I am your host, Anthony Florio, joined as always by good old MF Michael Fletcher. We are maybe awaiting the presence of the phenom Michael Bullock. If he comes in, we'll catch him up on what he missed.
I'm pretty sure I thought Bullock said he wasn't doing the show tonight.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
based off of what we talked about from last night.
Yep, I forgot about that. That's right. Yep, you're right. Michael Bullock will not be joining us this evening. We hope to have him back with us Wednesday night for Wednesday Night Madness. So MF and I will be taking you through the show tonight. And we started off, well, by the way, Monday Night Raw live tonight from the Bon Secours Wellness Arena in Greenville, South Carolina on the USA Network. Show opens with the standard Judgment Day promo. Stop me if that sounds familiar, but it's true. It was Rhea Ripley in there with Dominic Mysterio and JD McDonough, interrupted by Sami Zayn. And, just the usual cookie cutter stuff. So, not going to waste too much time into that. Started off with our first match of the night. The NXT North American Champion Dominic Mysterio squaring off against Ricochet. Dominic Mysterio wins the match, 11 minutes, 20 seconds. Well, all right. The match and the promo took up two segments. So with the promo that opened the show, Judgment Day took up most of the first half hour of the show. Promo segment was decent, but the match was even better. Dom has shown real improvements in recent months, and this bout put a lot of the things he has learned on display. Ricochet, being as good and as versatile as he is, almost forced his opponents to get better to even come close to being on his level. But he is also great at making his opponents look good. Dom scored the win by rolling Ricochet up by pulling the tights and getting the win, following a distraction from JD McDonough. Crowd was giving Rhea Ripley a great reaction during her entrance. WWE may be forced to turn her face at some point. If this keeps up, she might be too popular to remain a heel. Sami Zayn quickly turned it into a passionate promo after it started relatively normal. The way JD McDonough flew over the top rope when Ricochet avoided him was hilarious. Dom has a lot of things he needs to work on, but his dropkick has gotten pretty good. And Sami Zayn must not like Ricochet enough to stay at ringside for his match, even though he was outnumbered by the Judgment Day. So, give this about 3.25 stars for the effort. So not much more to say here. MF, decent promo to start. Sammy was definitely the star of it by showing that fire and intensity. It was almost like I was cutting a promo almost. That's exactly what I would do if it was me. But solid promo. But then Dominic Mysterio defeats Ricochet. 11 minutes, 20 seconds, pulling the tights and getting the win.
Yeah, and the thing is that it seems like it's one of those type of situations where it kind of opens the door for maybe Ricochet to go after the North American title. It wasn't really a clean victory. It was a little bit of a screwy finish. But, at the end of the day, we'll have to wait and see how it plays out. But, there's really nothing more for me to say on that one. It was a solid promo segment, but the match itself was really damn good. I mean, you could say 3.5 stars, no doubts, and we'll move right on along.
It was 3.5, but I bumped it down to 3.25 because of the finish. But other than that, fine. All right. Speaking of Michael Bullock, he reported this during our outing last night. An open challenge, and it was accepted. The Alpha Academy squaring off against the Creed brothers, Julius and Brutus Creed. And the Creed brothers win the match in 10 minutes and 55 seconds. Okay, MF, what do we see you, Creed brothers. We see you.
Not only that, but not only did they bring the Creeds, they also brought Ivy Nile. Remember her? She also was a major player in this whole thing too. So yeah, no, this was a heck of a match. This was a great way to introduce the Creeds. It was a solid battle. Could have been, I would say a solid 3 for the effort. I mean, look, you wanted a good team to jump them off. I think you could not have found a better tag team to put the Creeds up against than none other than the Alpha Academy. I think that was the right choice. Those would be the perfect opponents for the match, and they did really well with it. So no, I thought they did. It was great for what it was worth. 3 stars, and yeah, Anthony, it's yours.
Hey, I got to give this about 3.5. I mean, for those who do not watch NXT, the Creed brothers have been one of the best tag teams in the developmental system for the past couple of years. They have a technical powerhouse style similar to that of the Steiner brothers back in the 90s. Ivy Nile, like MF mentioned, accompanied them to the ring, so she may have been called up with them. While this match definitely showed the inexperience these two teams have working together, it was also a fun showdown between two teams with more in common than meets the eye. The Creeds still have some growing to do, but pairing them with Alpha Academy for their Raw debut helped put their best skills in front of a lot of fans who never watched them in NXT. The second half was a lot better than the first. After Julius managed to get Otis on his shoulders, Brutus hit him with their finisher for an upset win. All 4 men shook hands and celebrated together. The mid-match handshake between two babyfaces who impress each other is always a nice moment. It cannot be overstated how impressive it is that Julius Creed was able to stand up from the mat while holding Chad Gable up in a suplex. And Ivy Niles suplexing Akira Tozawa at ringside was kind of funny. But 3.25, 3.5 stars for that one. No question. So
you know what, Anthony? I just want to say for the record, this must have been something right up your alley, because especially Chad Gable and the Creeds, that Greco-Roman style wrestling, that freestyle wrestling, that I guess you can call it like this was really kind of that style of professional wrestling, that it wasn't high flying. It was mat style. It was almost technical. It was a little bit of a technical wrestling at the for those moments. You must have been like a proud papa with that, because I know how much you love the technical side of the wrestling.
And what did Jesse the Body Ventura always like to say during certain matches? How much he loved wrestling, and that's definitely what I would be saying. With me being the Jesse of the group here, I mean, Jesse always talked about, tag teams that wrestled, not brawler teams, and this was definitely right up my alley. When Bullock shared this with us last night, I was like, oh, you're going to see some wrestling here. You're going to see some fine wrestling here. And sure enough, we did. So this was easily 3.25 to 3.5 stars. No question about that. Okay, interesting segment here. We had Miz TV. The Miz's guest was the longest Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion to date, Gunther, 507 days and counting as Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion. And when he attempted to bring Gunther out for the interview, nothing happened. Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci came out to insult the A-lister. Gunther finally decided to make an appearance as they were arguing. He told The Miz that he was not his guest and didn't respect him at all. They traded insults for a bit until Gunther had Kaiser crush a pumpkin bearing The Miz's logo. Miz tried to put up a fight, but the numbers game caught up to him right away. Not only does it look like WWE might be turning The Miz into a babyface, but he might be the next challenger for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. As he left the area, DIY came out to face Kaiser and Vinci in tag team action. And the winners of the match in 10 minutes and 55 seconds, DIY. This was a solid 1-2 punch with Miz TV setting up Gunther versus The Miz. And this match following that segment, everyone was on point and gave us our second entertaining tag team match of the night. DIY scoring the win where Johnny Gargano pinned Giovanni Vinci following their finisher. You notice there was a lot of tension between Vinci and Kaiser in this segment. The Miz was shown approaching Adam Pearce backstage before the match got going. He asked for a title shot, and Adam Pearce gave him a chance to earn one against Big Bronson Reed. And Vinci's missed moonsault was perfect. But there are two other guys that were added to that party because it's not going to be just Miz and Bronson Reed one-on-one. We've got two other guests coming to that dinner table. And those guests happen to be Ricochet and I'm trying to remember who the other who else was added, but nonetheless, we will have. Well, okay, I got it now. Ivar, Ricochet versus Miz versus Bronson Reed versus Ivar in a 4-way match for the Intercontinental for a shot. For the next shot at Gunther and the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. So, theme of the night so far, another 3.25, 3.5 star match. No surprise with DIY winning. After all, this is their first match together in years. Great to see them back together. And I'm hopeful that the same success they had in NXT, they'll bring it over to the main roster. So, I'm rooting for it. So, 3.25, 3.5 stars, and MF. Change of character for the Miz, babyface Miz.
Yeah,
I'll give it a shot.
I mean, I'm a little skeptical about it because for the longest time, I think we all can agree, the Miz has been one of the best heels in all of professional wrestling. Absolutely. I mean, I think his heel work is so good and so amazing. I don't think there's much argument. I don't know if a babyface Miz is gonna resonate with the fans. I hope it does. I would give it. I'll give it a chance, but I'm not as confident like the others are. So we'll see. Hopefully it works, but I don't know, boys. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, at the end of the day, Anthony, it's yours. This was a solid match. And can I just say, I don't know what it is, but one of my favorite parts is I guess you could talk about where Gargano and Ciampa sit on the court, right on that ring apron, does the little the mocking of the clapping, and then they slap themselves on the shoulder. That's how I feel like us guys do it sometimes. We just for the hell of it. Hey! Every time we finish the show after we wrap it up, it's kind of a little insight on what we do. It's kind of more or less what we do at the end after we go off the air. It's kind of something like that,
So, yeah, positively. So that was that. Let's see, what else do we have? I just gotta set up the next thing here. All right. Well, we had our first cutout of the night, and it was Xia Li squaring off against Candice LeRae. Xia Li wins the match via referee stoppage in an even 2 minutes. Wow, Xia Li. Okay. You got my attention. No question about it.
This is the Xia
Xia Li
Li
was
we've been waiting for. This is the Xia Li we've been waiting for. This is the Xia Li we knew that to us, yes, we felt bad because it's Candice LeRae. You know, Candice is one of the premier wrestlers in WWE. Whenever she's really she's significant. You know, and not only that, but even in the independent circuit, she was very significant. You know, in the company, everything else, well loved. And the thing is that she had a good run on NXT main roster. Not that big of a push yet, but Xia Li, she needed this moment tonight. She needed this kind of, because for really the longest time, Xia Li kind of she fell off the cliff. You know, she was highly touted, was pretty decent in NXT, but she has not gotten any breaks when she came to the main roster. And you can say, in a way, maybe the injuries was the reason why Xia didn't get a success as she was hoping for. But I hope tonight, after this performance, that maybe this might be the opening that she needs, where she'll finally get some credibility in her way. But we'll see. But yeah, nothing more to say. Anthony, it's yours.
When Xia Li was brought up to the main roster, WWE gave her a fancy entrance and seemed poised to give her a big push. But it seemed to stop out of nowhere and never picked up again until now. The way this looked, what happened to Candice LeRae anyway? Xia Li nailed Candice LeRae with a brutal kick to the head, and the ref called for the bell, citing LeRae's inability to continue. Some trainers came down to check on LeRae as Lee celebrated her win. The way this looked, it could very well be a legitimate injury. If that is the case, let's hope Candice is okay and recovers quickly. Michael Cole messed up LeRae's name and then made a joke about how getting old sucks. Brief video package they played for Xia Li was good, and they should bring the lightning back for Lee's entrance. No question about it. So, by default, it was the worst fight of the night. It's like a 1-star effort because it was a showcase for Xia Li. So, not much more to say here. Then we had this well done video package with Drew McIntyre that came out really good. Great promo and production work. WWE ran the story of McIntyre's fresh, and the way McIntyre's character is acting is compelling. And then from there we had the world heavyweight champion Seth freaking Rollins. Well, he cut a brief he cut a promo beforehand, and all I can say was, what a great rebuttal promo from Seth freaking Rollins, particularly if they intend to turn Drew McIntyre, which I believe they will. And Rollins came across as a babyface champion who can relate to the average person, and he did a very effective job of making McIntyre's character come off a bit petty. The build to this match has been absolutely fantastic. And out of all the matches on this card, this one has legitimate show stealer potential. We could end up calling this thing Fight of the Night come Saturday night. We really could. So, but anyways, Seth freaking Rollins goes one-on-one with JD McDonough. And Seth freaking Rollins wins the match in an even 14 minutes. There's no question about it. This was the Fight of the Night. 3.5 to 3 3/4 of a star. This was a highly competitive bout between two guys who are the top of their game. As Rollins was preparing to win, Damian Priest walked toward the ring with his Money in the Bank briefcase and a referee by his side. He settled in near the announce table to watch what happened. Visionary hit a pedigree and a curb stomp to get the win. He kept an eye on Damian the whole time just to make sure he didn't try to cash in. Like I said, the video for McIntyre was excellent. It made him look more dedicated and dangerous than any of the other segments have in the storyline. JD McDonough's slingshot corkscrew looked really good. The bump McDonough took when Rollins launched him over the top rope was wild. And so was the dive Rollins used to send him over the announce table. 3.5 to 3 3/4 of a star. You can make an argument for 4, certainly. But there's no mistake about it. This was the fight of the night for me. So not much more to say here. MF. The video package for Drew McIntyre, well done. Seth freaking Rollins rebuttal, equally well done. The match with JD McDonough, 3.5 to 4 stars. I know I told our dear friend Mike Silvera this as we were wrapping up our outing last night. This crown jewel, I know over the years, the Saudi Arabia cards have always gotten bad raps and have always been, subject to ridicule and the whole 9 yards. And
yes,
in the early years, they were.
Yes.
They were average and mediocre shows, yes. But I'm gonna level with you. I'm gonna told you what I told Silvera last night. In my honest opinion, the way this card is shaping up right now, looking at this card from top to bottom, including for the first time in a long time, a kickoff show match has been added. We're gonna have a pre-show fight on this. Sami Zayn is gonna square off against JD McDonough, including even if you didn't have that. MF, I can honestly say this particular Saudi Arabia card is shaping up, in my honest opinion, to be the greatest and best one ever.
I will openly admit that there is definitely an agreement there. The Saudi Arabia shows were almost throwaways, if you think about it. For a number of years, they were, you could even say, glorified house shows that, they never really panned it out or delivered. And that a lot of people thought that, that they were just doing it, just because they were getting the money, that they were getting the payday, that, WWE was just going to give them, scraping the barrel and everything else. But if you notice in the last, I want to say 4 years, 3 or 4 years, there has been a conscious effort to make better shows, to make it quality shows. And now all of a sudden, and I'll openly admit, I think the last few times that they met in Saudi Arabia has actually been their personal best. And they've been upping the ante each and every time. Now that TKO Holdings, Artie Emanuel is running it, I got a feeling that this upcoming show is going to feel like a UFC level type event with Triple H under the helm now, and now with him running creative for WWE. I really feel like this is going to be like one of those super events that the UFC traditionally has done in the past, where if you go to Australia or you go to England, you go to one of these countries, that it's going to be absolutely a phenomenal event. And oh, by the way, look at the track record of WWE's events lately outside of the United States. They've been amazing. Puerto Rico with Backlash, the Clash at the Castle when they went to Cardiff, Wales. Oof. Every event they've done under this Triple H regime they've been upping the ante every single time. And I think Saudi Arabia will be no exception to that rule. This is going to be possibly, maybe, one of the best Saudi shows we've ever had. And that's my expectation.
I don't see one bad match on that card. I really
don't.
There is one. There is one I have a small little doubt about, and that's the women's 5-way. I'm a little worried about that. But other than that, find me one bad match on that card. I can't.
No. And that's why. Because of the fact that, again, give credit where credit is due. This is that level of, you can talk about WWE, you can talk about the TKO deal, Artie Emanuel, and, saying and knighting Triple H, the head of creative for WWE, and saying that he is the one that's going to have the day-by-day decision. And you can notice it in the product. You notice it in the talent with the wrestlers. They love Hunter. They love Triple H. They love the direction that they're going. And now that there is that stability that WWE has, I think that's why I think a lot of people are very excited for what this event it could be and what it could look like if everything goes according to plan. We'll get into the preview on Wednesday night because the show is on Saturday.
That is correct. That is indeed correct. And one other thing, this global thing, taking shows outside of the United States. I mean, look what they've already got lined up for 2024 already.
Yeah.
February. The Elimination Chamber is going to Australia.
Yep.
How about this? Reports coming out saying that they want to do the Backlash pay-per-view in Paris, France. That's a rumor. That hasn't been officially confirmed. But that, as we always like to say, read into that what you will. But
there is also one that has been confirmed that we know is going to happen.
Next August.
Berlin, Germany is coming.
August 31st, 2024. It's called The Bash in Berlin at the Mercedes-Benz Arena in Berlin, Germany. So we've already got, we've got four international pay-per-views because they're going to do 2 more Saudi shows. You know that because of that 10-year agreement that they went into.
Yep.
So Papa H was not kidding. He was not kidding when he said that he wanted to make it more of a global thing. And look at this. I mean, the chamber in Australia. Rhea Ripley is going to get a hero's welcome.
Oh, that. Yeah.
My sides are aching just thinking about the massive pop that Rhea Ripley's going to get when she comes out for that event.
Think about this. What about for Gunther in Berlin?
Ooh.
That's going to be ridiculous. Like we said, there's certain guys and there's certain events. And the thing is, you want to know why there's more of an international flavor? Because this is what the UFC has done all the time. They've gone to Brazil. They've gone to Paris. They've gone to England. They go to the O2.
The United Arab Emirates.
They've gone to the UAE. They've gone to Australia. So all these locations that they're trying to do, that WWE has done, UFC has done. And the thing is that every time they've gone international, it's been a sellout. Every event that they've done has been almost amazing events. I get it. And this is a beauty of a thing for them to do all this stuff. So I'm very excited for what it could be. Yeah. So I think that's why there's very high expectations heading into 2024, especially for WWE, because you keep doing all these international things. It's even better because the fans, if you notice, sometimes US fans, depending on the city, sometimes they sit on their hands. When you go international,
those Euros, man.
Especially the Euros, they get me. Like I don't know what it is, but every time I do one of these international events, it brings out the best of me in commentary. I don't know what it is. The crowd just I feed off it, man. I love it. The commentary is just so much better when we go outside of the U.S. I have to say.
Get ready for Saturday, Saudi, and lost in all of that. I mean, with the excitement of the international shows, what did you make of everything we saw with Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins? Drew's video package, which was outstanding. Production team comes through again. They never have a bad day at the office.
Yeah, that never have a bad day at the office. I was pretty impressed with what they did. Excited as well. I think that's also the key word is excitement.
And Seth freaking Rollins with his great rebuttal, and then Seth freaking Rollins defeating JD McDonough in an even 14 minutes in a match that I thought was 3.5 to 4 stars easy.
Agreed. Fight of the night. Yeah, a solid main event. Solid match. I don't know if it was the main event, but
no,
it was solid for what it was worth. Yeah. So nothing more to say. Anthony, is yours.
All right. Yep. Kickoff show match that was announced. All right. Natalya squaring off against Chelsea Green in a trick or street fight. Chelsea Green wins the match 5 minutes and 35 seconds. MF, if you want to get into it, feel free. If you don't want to, it's fine. So
it was exactly what we thought it was going to be. I thought it was exactly what it needed it to be. It was fun. It was solid. There was definitely a lot to say. Could have been better in certain elements. I get it, but I thought it was fine. I thought it was an okay match. Maybe I'd say about 1.5. Even though because it was a little bit of a short bout, could have been longer in that, but I didn't have that big of an issue with it. I thought it was fun. And I'll say this. I gotta give credit to the women for doing what they did, for dressing up, for looking amazing. I know a lot of fans love Natalya's outfit.
Oh, Natty.
Natalya won the night on this one. Her costume, spot on, amazing.
Cue the Booker soundbite.
I don't want to do it.
But
I don't want to do it.
It's well, if I had the Booker style, I definitely would have brought the Booker out in me. No doubt.
Yeah.
You know what it is. So
I know what it is. Yes.
Yep. That's exactly what was on my mind. But how about Chelsea Green and Piper Niven dressing up like the Hart Foundation? I mean,
what a wow. Okay. You want to talk about a major troll by doing that? I need your thoughts about it because for me, I was like, oh my God, that they went down that route. But
Chelsea Green dressing up like Natalya's uncle, Bret the Hitman Hart, and Piper Niven dressing up like her late father, Jim the Anvil Neidhart. I mean, you guys know I am the Port Authority for all things Hart family. And I was like, well, I mean, credit where credit is due. But the thing is, Chelsea looked great, but at the same time, from a professional standpoint, I didn't mind it. But from a personal standpoint, I did because, I kind of thought it was a little disrespectful. I understand, wanting to get mind games and all that, but took it a little too far, to be honest with you. To be honest, it went a little too far, but it was the typical Halloween silliness. I was hoping that with Papa H at the helm, that we would be getting rid of this silliness. I kind of feel like they let McMagma in the door for this one, but whatever. But the match was never going to be a classic, was never going to be a 5-star classic encounter because it was designed to be that. It was designed to be a holiday-themed comedy bout, and that's exactly what we got. It was decent enough, but felt a bit out of place on a show that was really great that was pretty great from an in-ring perspective leading up to this. Natalya's costume looked great, but it was an odd choice of attire for a street fight. Niven dressing as Jim Neidhart was amazing. She even had chest hair applied as part of the costume. And a powerbomb on the candy corn might hurt more than people think. That stuff gets stale fast. But not that I would know. I am not a candy person at all. So
candy corn is I've had the candy corn. Yeah, not fun. That's all I'm gonna say about it. It's
bestseller. Is it a bestseller at the old Walmart there? I'll take that as a yes.
Yes, I will say there's a good amount of candy corn that normally goes through. So yeah, I'm not gonna say much about it, but yeah,
fair enough. But considering you would know a little bit more about that than me, but
yes.
But anyways, it was about somewhere between 2 to 2.5. So, all right. So with that being said, let's run down what we can expect on Monday Night Raw, which will be, of course, next Monday night. Just give me one moment here as I try to find out where it's scheduled to be for next week. Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, the Mohegan Sun Arena at the Casey Plaza in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. The fallout from Crown Jewel, because remember, once Crown Jewel is over, it's on to Survivor Series. Oh, yeah. You know what that means, MF? Old school commentary.
Mm-hmm.
You know we break out that old school Gorilla and Jesse on that one. And that's one especially that I wanted on. But nonetheless, next week, there will be a fatal four-way match to determine who will next challenge Gunther for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. Ricochet versus The Miz versus Big Bronson Reed versus Ivar. And on top of that, Akira Tozawa is going to go one-on-one with Shinsuke Nakamura. Apparently, Tozawa's got a death wish. So, against this Shinsuke? Yeah, good luck, buddy. Good luck. I understand you're trying to impress the Alpha Academy, but dude, that's all I'm going to say. Main event of the evening, as it was Damian Priest squaring off against Sami Zayn. Damian Priest wins the match via disqualification in an even 10 minutes. And then all hell breaks loose. It's the typical crazy ending to a Monday Night Raw. I mean, you had the Judgment Day getting involved. You had Jey Uso getting involved. You had Cody Rhodes getting involved. And I'll say it like this. Sami Zayn is a natural at playing the underdog, but he is also good at making himself look like a threat against much bigger competitors because he is so great. And the match was good up until the overbooked ending that seems to plague every Judgment Day match these days. Damian Priest was all over tonight's show. He was featured in segments during every hour. Michael Cole made a big deal about Damian Priest using his old Reckoning finisher, which looks exactly like Cody's Crossroads. The crowd singing along to a wrestler's entrance music will always be fun, and the way that JD McDonough sold the Haluva kick from Sami Zayn was awesome. I'm going to NA this one. It's a no rating. MF, obviously, the standard craziness at the end. A quick thought if you have one.
Yeah, poor JD McDonough, bro. Boy, did he pay a price. I mean, Haluva kick, 2 Crossroads. Oh my God, man. And Cody, how did he, look, he looks good, man. It does not look like the ankle is bothering him at all. He looks like he's at 100%. So, Yeah. There's really nothing more to add, man. So, yeah, heck of a way to close it. So it's yours, NA as well.
All right. So MF, overall, how did this Monday Night Raw stack up as a go home show tonight?
Go home show. I thought they did a very good job. It wasn't perfect in all elements. There was like maybe one true bad match, but the thing is that the whole night was good to solid to great. I got to give this uh easily for me 8.5 out of 10. I thought they really nailed it. So great show, great night. Nothing more to say. Anthony, is yours.
Yeah. 8 8 to, it's an 8 to 8.5. All right, I just wanted to make sure that that I was on here. I got one of my tabs here acting a little wonky. So yeah, I'm just gonna get rid of that one. All right. Okay, I think everything's okay now. All right. Tonight's Raw may have had a few notable low points, but as a whole, it was one of the stronger shows we have seen in recent months. Most of the matches were good, but the heavy emphasis on the tag team division during the first half of the show allowed WWE to highlight several great young talents. The Creed brothers had a great debut against Alpha Academy. DIY being back together made a lot of fans happy. Chelsea Green is the comedic superstar WWE has been waiting for, and Judgment Day continues to dominate Monday nights. With Crown Jewel coming up Saturday, it was surprising to get such a packed show instead of one filled with video packages and promos. But I'm with MF on this one. This was about an 8 to 8.5 out of 10 for me. So, all right. This Tony's Take tonight is going to be a condensed one, to be honest with you, because of the fact that this past Impact Wrestling show wasn't really a show. It was more of a recap show for Bound for Glory. I mean, we didn't have any Fallout or first run stuff on there, so there will be no Impact Wrestling review this week because of that. I pretty much said my piece on last week's show, so we'll next week I should have my thoughts on Impact Wrestling next week. All right. So with that said, let's get into NXT Level Up. We started it off with JC Jane squaring off against Izzy Dame. And JC Jane wins the match 5 minutes and 7 seconds. It was fine. And the main thing is the crowd buying into JC Jane now. I could only give it 1.5 for that effort. Axiom squaring off against Riley Osborne. And Axiom wins the match in 7 minutes and 47 seconds. They played off the match from 2 weeks ago and gave us a more satisfying finish. I like this match more than the one from 2 weeks ago. Great stuff from these two, and I want to see more of it. 3.25 stars, and that was it. 7.5 out of 10. I'm still getting used to the change back to a 2-match format, but the main event easily makes it a good show. As always, the show is a breeze to watch, and it's even more so now that it's only 20 or so minutes long. The crowd was hyped for both matches, and the main event delivered what I wanted to see. I would say check it out. Definitely check out the show. So a solid 7.5 out of 10 for that one. So with that being said, that will put the bow on this edition of Ridiculously Raw. I want to thank you all so very much for tuning in, as always. We'll be back with you Wednesday night, 10 p.m. over on MF's channel, Braceway 95, immediately following AEW Dynamite. We got a loaded edition of Wednesday Night Madness. We got our usual NXT, which is week 2 of Halloween Havoc. We also got AEW Dynamite. And we're also going to be previewing the WWE Crown Jewel pay-per-view. And in addition to that, we will also be previewing Thursday Night Football. Solid matchup this week. We got the Tennessee Titans squaring off against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Looking forward to that on Wednesday night. Thursday night, also at 10 p.m., right here on the Tone 25, TXN Sports World College Football Thursday, Week 10 edition. We got another round of great matchups, but of course the headliner, no doubt about it. We got a double main event actually. LSU versus Alabama and Washington versus USC. Those are your two big ones, although we got some other good ones to get into as well, but those are the two big ones right there. Thursday night. And then Friday night, 10 p.m., following SmackDown, it will be the Week 9 edition of NFL Friday. We'll recap Titans Steelers, and then we'll get into the rest of the slate for week number 9. Another double main event. The game of the year in the AFC so far. The Miami Dolphins and the Kansas City Chiefs from Frankfurt, Germany. And then on the other side of the coin, the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles on top of that. We've also got some other incredible matchups. This is the most loaded week and the most stacked week of games that I've seen so far this season. Seattle Seahawks against the Baltimore Ravens, the Buffalo Bills and the Cincinnati Bengals in Cincinnati for the first time since what happened to Damar Hamlin after the new year. So, that's going to be an emotional scene. So we'll get into all that on Friday night. And then Saturday night, 10:30, we'll see what happens with it. We didn't do a show this past week. MF didn't want to do a show, and that's more than fine. But if it is scheduled for Saturday night at 10:30, it will be the Cerebral Smack Talk. Friday night SmackDown, AEW Collision, and I would imagine WWE Crown Jewel as well, considering that the event is an afternoon event because of it being in Saudi Arabia. So we'll get into that on Saturday night. And then next Monday night, we do it all over again, Ridiculously Raw. The Raw fallout from Crown Jewel, and we start the road to the Survivor Series. I can't wait. So, and we'll get into, of course, Impact Wrestling and NXT Level Up in my Tony's Take, and that's it. So until Wednesday night for Wednesday Night Madness over on MF's channel, Race for 95, this is Anthony Florio here for good old MF Michael Fletcher, and in spirit, of course, the phenom Michael Bullock, and always and forever, the First Lady, the Twisted Angel, Dee Dee Woodson. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up Fortune Forest style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed couple of days. And until Wednesday night, for Wednesday Night Madness, you've been watching Ridiculously Raw right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube and Streaming.com. And remember, my friends, no matter what anyone tells you beyond anything else, wrestling is indeed actually real. For everybody who has been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long, and bye, everybody, bye.